Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and these are my reading goals for 2025. As with every year, I enter optimistically, knowing that I'm probably not going to hit all of these goals, but I'm going to try anyway. As with most years, I initially came up with 10, I came up with an 11th half an hour ago. So I have 11 primary goals, as well as like my usual, Goodreads / Storygraph, whatever, generic reading goals. And then we have a couple of social media goals. I have them all written down in my reading journal, so please do, if you are interested in seeing my full setup for my 2025 reading journal, please do go check that video out. The very first of these goals is my generic Goodreads / personal goals, and the first of these is the novels and graphic novel manga. I separated those into two categories last year. I'm sticking with that format. I really preferred tracking them separately. I did over 160 things over the course of last year, but I did find that I kind of missed doing as many novels. So I've gone with 150 total, and I'm splitting it into two. So 75 graphic novels and manga, 75 novels. I'm going to try and aim for those as much as possible. And then in terms of my main goals, the very first one is to cut down my Kindle library by a quarter. Originally, I was going to do a half, but Ren pointed out that that would be a heck of a lot of books, and considering how little I actually read ebooks these days, would be definitely unattainable for me. So what I did is that on the first day of January, I went into my Kindle library. I wrote down how many books. I've not gone with like docs or ebook audios or anything like that. It's just the ebooks that are in my library, and I had 225, which means I need to read 56 of them or remove. I don't have to read all of them as long as 56 books are gone from those shelves by the end of this year, and I don't buy too many more. We're golden. Number two is to complete series. Last year I did 5 series and I counted it across manga and novels. This year they're separate, so 5 graphic novel or manga series and 5 novel series. I've got too many that need finishing, and I did really badly at progressing my novel series last year. It's time to fix that. Number 3 is to focus on getting my NetGalley down to up to 70%, because it's currently down at like 56 or 57. I need to improve it. I have put a ban on requesting, so I'm just going to focus on the books I already have and really try and get my NetGalley up before I start requesting again, and to try and not feel so overwhelmed by the amount of arcs this year, and instead of requesting them, instead just put them on my want to look out for, and maybe use Libby when they come out and get them through Libby or something, rather than trying to buy them or request them, because I always struggle to keep up. So I'm only going to request arcs for the books that I'm genuinely like, I would stop breathing if I don't get them, kind of thing. Not to be dramatic, but Number 4 is to read more indie books than I read in 2024. I only read 10 indie books last year. I have so many more than that on my shelves, and it's time I do something about it. I really want to support indie authors. I have been bitten quite a bit. A lot of the books I've read have been absolutely appalling quality, and I'm like, this is the reason why we need editors and proofreaders. But the ones that I've read that have been good have been so good that it's made me really excited about reading more indie books this year. I'm also starting my year off by going to an indie book convention here in Australia, so I'm hoping to keep that trajectory going and read way more indie in 2025. Number 5 is another goal that I had from last year that I'm bringing over, and that is to read 10 2025 releases. Did I write 2024? No, I wrote 2025. I do like to try and read books as they're released as much as possible, especially this year where I've got so many books that I have on pre-order, which you'll see in my most anticipated releases video. Yeah, there's no reason, and I do usually hit between sort of 10 and 15 a year, so I think I will be able to do that. Number 6 is one that I hideously failed at last year, and this year I am absolutely going to kick my ass in gear to getting done, and that was to read chonkers. This number has gone down. 2 years ago, 600 pages was considered a chonker for me. Last year, 550 pages was considered a chonker. This year, it's down to 500 pages. I've really struggled to read big, thick, chunky books. And even though I've been reading a lot of fantasy, for some reason, a lot of the fantasy I've been reading haven't been like these big tomes. They've just been smaller, or like average kind of like 350 to 400 pages. So it's time to sink my teeth in and really get into some of those big juicy books, especially as I now have developed a love of audiobooks. So there is no excuse for me to not get into them more this year. And speaking of audiobooks, I have set myself a target of 300 hours of listening. Last year I only did 120 hours, but it became very clear to me that there are specific times that I love to listen to audiobooks, and that is when I'm video gaming. And honestly, I video game so much that there is no reason why I can't quite easily hit 300 hours by the end of the year. Number 8 is a slightly more unconventional one for me, and that is to try horror. As we know, last year I tried a few gothic fantasies. I tried a couple that were like borderline and considered horror, but I've not really read out horror. So I'm going to try and read 3 horror books that have got like different types of horror, like, you know, thriller, horror, body horror, things like that. So I'm going to try different flavors of horror and see if maybe it is actually a genre that I've been avoiding when I should be reading, because maybe I do actually enjoy it. So gothic horror has kind of become a gateway into trying more branches of the horror tree. Number 9 is related to a challenge that I've created in my reading journal for this year, and that is to read an author's backlist. I've chosen 2 of my favourite authors. We have Nalini Singh and V.E. Schwab, and I've written down all of the full-length novels of theirs that I have not read yet. And for Nalini, it was 20. For V.E. Schwab, it was 19 books. And I'm going to try and get through one of their backlists through this year. I don't know if I'll complete this challenge, but it'll be interesting to see if I can, and just, you know, cement them even further as favourite authors of all time for me. Number 10, which was my final one until, like I said earlier today, was to read books and manga with disability rep that I've not read a lot of. I found that I tend to pick books that have got like blind rep, deaf rep, and sort of more like mental health, autism, ADHD rep. This year I want to focus on other ones, especially ones that are related to me. So find things with like chronic fatigue and dizziness, books that feature migraine rep, women having menstrual issues, things like that that I feel relate to me. If you have any recs, please do let me know, especially if there's fantasy with those reps or manga. Really would love to know, and please do recommend away. And then number 11 that I've added is to read books gifted to me. I've had a few books that people have bought for me for Christmas this year. I've now got to try and get them home with all the other books that I've bought out here, which could prove to be interesting. And I know that this isn't even the last of the books I'll be getting as gifts here, because Sasha from Sasha Reads literally this morning messaged our group chat for A Romantic Affair and was like, hey, can everyone name a book that you want me to buy, because I know it's people's birthdays and stuff. And I'm like, oh no. Max bought me Formula One, the Australian and New Zealand story. He knows I'm a fan of Formula One. We went to the Adelaide 500 together in November. And so this is a book all about different Formula One racers who hail from Australia and New Zealand. And it's just so cool. It's also very heavy. So this might be one that I have to leave here for now, and then at some point through the year I will pay to get it shipped. I got from Meredith from Bin Chicken Books. She got me Confessions of a Shy Baker Volume 2. And then Chelsea from Chelsea Zhao bought me Prince and Assassin, which is a queer book with an assassin falling in love with the prince he's supposed to murder. So that sounds fun. But I've also got like a huge stack of books that Ren bought me last year when they were in the UK. Please check out those hauls for more. There's also books from even before that, from like Christmas before last, where I've got books from family and friends. So I'm going to go through when I get home all of the books that have been gifted to me and put them on a separate section of my shelves. And then my aim is to get through as many of them, if not all of them, by the end of the year. And when I get gifted a book, I will put it on the next TBR or even that month's TBR to like really keep up with not only recent releases, but also the books that people are buying for me. That's going to be a big priority next year. This year, we are in 2025 already. And then all that's left are just kind of a couple of social media goals. So my YouTube goal this year, I'm currently sat on 1,150 subscribers, which is incredible. And thank you so much if you are one of those subscribers. And if you're not, why are you watching this video and not subscribing to me? I am going to be doing more themed vlogs this year. I had so much fun doing those last year. I've been really inspired by people like Gavin to do more creative stuff in the new year rather than just sit down videos all the time. We also have my readathon, adventure-a-thon is coming again this year. We've got 2 rounds planned. So please do stick around and subscribe to check out more of those. But by the end of this year, I would like to be sat on 1500 if I can. Obviously, sort of more than that would be fantastic, but my hard goal is to hit 1500. So if you want to subscribe and join for various reasons, that'd be great. And then on Instagram, I am really gonna go for it. I am only just on like 400 or 500 subscribers, but I do not put the time and effort into my Instagram that I should. So this year I am absolutely, I've said every week will be at least 1 post. I'm gonna do like updates more often, and I'm really gonna try and make my Instagram look a bit more aesthetically kind of cohesive like it used to be, because it used to look like this and I think it looked really, really lovely. But then it kind of now has become a little bit more mismatched and everything doesn't really go. And I hate not having that cohesion that I used to have. So that is definitely going to be a thing that I'm going to work on this year. And I would like to try and get to 750 subscribers. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but hopefully it will. Other goals, I mostly just have personal goals other than that. And they're just sort of, you know, I've got a load of stuff in my journal. So things like I want to get some health stuff sorted. I really want to work hard on my candle business. I've currently got like a Dark Shades of Magic range. I've got a Chestnut Springs range, Outlander, Stranger Things. I've got a Christmas character range. But this year I'm bringing more in. We're going to have an expansion of the Raven Cycle range. I've got some more V. Schwab candles coming. I'm going to be doing some Genshin Impact candles. There's just so many things that I've got so many ideas for, and I'm even considering also starting to make perfume oils. So if for whatever reason you can't have candles or wax melts, but you still want those scents, then you can have a little perfume that you can just roll on instead. But that's a future thing. And so obviously there's a lot that I want to do there. I would like to get away from Etsy eventually and move on to an actual website and set up my own online shop. But again, that might take a little while. So please do support me on those channels. Everything will be linked below. And also my Patreon. I really want to make sure that I'm getting rewards out to people. I want to make sure that it's a really fun community. I want to be doing things that make you feel like you are getting something extra. And so again, there's going to be some fun little projects on there. So please do check out my Patreon as well if you are interested in any of those. You don't even have to pay. I have a free tier. Other personal goals I'm not really going to talk about because they are personal to me. I might do like a little check-in throughout the year and I might reveal some of them there, but for now I've got a few that I don't really want to talk about out loud, because even though I know putting it out into the universe helps things, but I'm also very nervous and scared, and I'm very aware of previous experiences, and so for now I'm just keeping them to myself and I'm not going to put them out there until things have happened. That's all I'm going to say about those. Those are my goals for this year. Do you have any bookish goals of your own? If you have a video, please feel free to link it below. Otherwise, just feel free to share with me in the comments what kind of things you want to get up to for your reading or even in your personal life in 2025, because I always love to hear from you. In the meantime, I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and Etsy, which are both linked below, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!